Hello, sir. I'm Officer Oliver with Tallahassee Police Department. Do you have your driver's license, registration, insurance?
This is the reason why you slowed me down.
Yes, sir. So you don't have any headlights on, and you're going really fast down Monroe Street.
Headlight? My headlights automatically on when I'm driving.
They're not on right now.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I'll just want to go ahead and show you. So right now you just have your parking lights on. So if you switch them to, that's your auto. Now they're on.
I ain't doing nothing till I talk to a lawyer.
Almost 1 year after this body camera video was recorded, this man headed to trial for driving under the influence.
Hey, there's vodka in his seat, like right here in a pouch in his seat.
But this video shows a different story as a responding officer opens the vodka bottle for the first time and pours the alcohol out on the street. And later, she admits to destroying the evidence.
But you dumped it out?
Correct.
Despite it being evidence?
Correct.
To understand what's happening now, we have to head back to May 7th of last year.
A Florida jury convicts a black man of DUI even after body cam video shows a white police officer planting evidence. Leon County Judge Jason Jones sentenced Calvin Riley to 10 days in jail and 6 months of probation for the May 2023 arrest. This case received a national spotlight just days ahead of the start of the trial because media outlet Our Tallahassee posted an edited clip of the arresting officer's body camera footage. The footage shows, in part, an officer picking up a bottle from Riley's car during the incident, pouring out the contents and placing the bottle back inside the vehicle.
Well, you know, there was a guy who had evidence planted on him after a DUI stop. Well, that person has been found guilty, believe it or not.
A routine traffic stop in Florida turns into a legal nightmare when a Tallahassee cop is caught on body cam video planting evidence to justify the arrest of a black man. This took place on May 7, 2023, when 26-year-old officer Kirsten Oliver pulled over Calvin Riley Sr.
Let me remind you of the video. Here it is.
Meet Calvin Riley. He's being stopped by the Tallahassee Police Department on South Monroe.
Hello, sir. I'm Officer Oliver with Tallahassee Police Department. Do you have
She'll
your driver's
plant evidence
license,
of an empty liquor
registration,
bottle in
insurance?
Riley's car before arresting him for an alleged DUI. Riley's license is suspended, and officers decide to arrest Riley on a first offense for his suspended license.
Would you be willing to do some voluntary field sobriety exercises?
Not really.
Okay. Here, go ahead and step out of the vehicle for us.
They didn't tell him the consequences of refusing that voluntary test.
Just go ahead and face the corner of the car for us. Your license is
After
suspended.
detaining Riley, they ask him if he smoked any marijuana.
Mr. Riley, I got a quick question for you.
No problem.
So I smelled marijuana in your vehicle. Did you recently smell?
No.
Once he's arrested for driving with a suspended license, they can search his car. Officer Oliver leaves the car, does a 360, and then goes back in the car, retrieving a sealed liquor bottle and pours it out. That was the sound of the seal on the liquor bottle breaking. Here's another angle. While Officer Muth questions Riley about marijuana
Did
again,
somebody else smoke in your car earlier?
Oliver tosses the empty bottle into the passenger seat. They don't find any marijuana in the car.
Riley was charged with having a suspended license and a DUI. Public Defender Desiree Goodfellow attempted but failed to get the bottle evidence dismissed.
All the motherfucker has to sit up there and do is drop it, you know? But instead, she wanted to sit up there and do what a lot of these bad apples, if you want to call it that, do would just fuck up a Black person's life for shits and giggles, because there's no excuse for any of this. And it's crazy that this is even going this far with the so-called checks and balances in the system. What the hell is the district attorney, the state's attorney, still prosecuting this case for on this flimsy evidence? What the hell is the judge doing by allowing evidence that's faulty to stay in? This is why the system is not set up for people who are innocent to walk free.
Here's what happened next.
Here's Officer Oliver implying to Officer Muth that the empty bottle was likely what was in a cup in Riley's center console.
Cover where like the knee would sit, there's an opening, and he had it like tucked. Okay. And then the whatever he had in his cup also smelled.
Then Officer Muth tells a senior officer that they found open alcohol in the car, in both a bottle and a cup.
Did y'all search the car?
Yeah.
Okay, nothing in there?
Yeah. Well, okay, so he had a bunch of alcohol stashed in there, but
Nothing open or anything?
yeah, open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in his like Tervis in the center console, he had a mixed drink, and then under his knee, he had a like little bottle of vodka tucked away.
When officers group to discuss the case, they all ask each other if their body cameras are off.
Still alive. Any evidence of that?
Marijuana.
Yeah.
Are you still on?
The video ends at this point.
You know, people, I don't know, some of these jurisdictions will just hire anybody. They'll just hire anybody to these police forces. And then it just becomes self-fulfilling and self-perpetuating. And basically, you're trying to justify your existence by these arbitrary stops. Why was he stopped in the first place?
He didn't have lights on. He's flying down Monroe Street, and when I went to pull him over, he like started to get over and then came back over and then like is kind of like hovering and then stopped.
Now, Oliver did not tell Riley why she pulled him over.
There's a reason why you slowed me down.
Yes, sir. So you don't have any headlights on, and you're going really fast down Monroe Street.
In the deposition, she said that he was hoovering lanes. Okay. Greg, I looked up hoovering. And I don't know if you can actually do this while driving, but if y'all go to my iPad, hoovering is called the act of cleaning floors and other surfaces with a vacuum cleaner.
And when I went to pull him over, he like started to get over and then came back over and then like is kind of like hovering and then stopped.
Oh man.
I guess now maybe if she said he was hovering, but hovering is in the air. I don't.
Despite the evidence that you just saw, this man was still found guilty of the crime. Literally, the officer is the one on camera breaking the law. Just think about it in context. Take away the blue uniform. The officer is the one in possession in public with an open container. The officer is the one who places said open container inside of a vehicle. Those are your statutory violations. Maybe the guy was impaired that night. Maybe he has a drinking problem. That is possible. But there's a fact here that we know. And the fact is, the officer planted evidence, period. All right, what say you?
Here's what I say. The system is working exactly as it's designed against Black people. Note to Black people in Tallahassee, you got to get out of the state. Got to get out of the city, the state. FAMU students, stay on campus. You are in danger. And any uniform officer who behaves unlawfully and or sloppily, didn't know the law, lied on the body cam, I believe is still lying today. I can't look at anything else. Who's inebriated, who's driving on I can't trust you. I got to throw you out of there.
After deliberating for less than 2 hours, the jury in a viral drunk driving case out of Tallahassee, Florida, has found a 56-year-old man by the name of Calvin Riley guilty of driving under the influence. A portion of the body cam footage, which was highly edited, made it appear as though one of the officers on the scene had planted evidence on Mr. Riley. And so when you look at the raw, unedited footage of the body cam, video, you see something entirely different. And I think it's important to set the record straight. When he was pulled over, he didn't pull over on the side of the road. He pulled over in the middle of the road.
And when I went to pull him over, he like started to get over and then came back over and then like is kind of like hovering and then stopped.
Yeah, I guess now maybe if she said he was hovering, but that's hovering is in the air.
That was the first, well, not the first sign. That was one of the signs that he was in fact driving under the influence. He was pulled over, as you can see, and
This is the reason why you slowed me down.
Yes, sir. So you don't have any headlights on and you're going really fast down Monroe Street.
Headlight, my headlights automatically on when I'm driving.
They're not on right now.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem.
so I think she handled that the way that a police officer should when they pull someone over.
What did you say?
He asked her, hey, why are you pulling me over? Why are you slowing me down is what he asked her. And she very clearly stated, look, you were driving very quickly and erratically and you have your headlights off.
What the fuck did you just say?
And he seemed to be unaware of the fact that his headlights are off. I have to be honest, there have been instances where my headlights were off and I didn't realize it. That's not necessarily an indication that you're drunk, but the interaction that followed kind of made it abundantly clear that he was under the influence.
Are you just sitting here just making shit up?
Riley was unable to provide a driver's license, okay? So that was another issue, and ultimately that ended up being the reason why he was arrested. We're gonna get to that in just a second. Now, despite the narrative that he was originally pulled over because the officer smelled pot.
Once she pulled him over suggesting that she smelled marijuana. I guess I'm still confused how you can smell marijuana with a moving car.
How can you smell marijuana? What kind of sense do you have? That's the reason why we have canines to do that kind of work. Our sensitivity of our nose do not qualify a person to be able, in the court of law, saying, well, I smelled marijuana. I saw this empty bottle of liquor, and I suspect that this person should be charged.
As you just heard in that interaction, that was not the reason why he was pulled over. The officer clearly communicated with him that the stop was due to his driving, his fast driving, and the fact that the headlights were turned off.
So he's got suspended. It's Calvin Riley. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask him. That's why he doesn't have a driver's license, because he knows it's suspended.
So she notes there that he didn't provide a driver's license because he knows that it's suspended. That is ultimately the reason why he is put in handcuffs.
You're just making shit up.
He said he's coming from Pockets and he had beers at Pockets.
Oh, he didn't tell me that?
I asked him that because he originally said the north side, and I said we're out on the north side, and he said Pockets.
See, he told me he was coming from Brevard Street. So he did say he had beers at Pockets?
Yeah.
Do you get any other indications?
I mean, his speech is slurred. And
yeah.
He's got the watery bloodshot eyes, and I do have odor.
So at that point, the secondary police officer went to speak to him, asked if he had been drinking that night. He told her that he went to a sports bar known as Pockets Pool and Pub. He confessed to drinking a few beers.
I want to go more into the beers that you said you had. Yeah. Would you be willing to do some voluntary field sobriety exercises? No? Okay. Here, go ahead and step out of the vehicle for us.
Declines the tests and is asked to step out of the vehicle. He will now be taken into custody for driving with a suspended license.
Your license is suspended, so we're gonna...
No problem.
So as you can see, the reason why they put him in handcuffs and they placed him under arrest is because of the fact that he was driving without a valid license. He had a suspended license. And so a search of his vehicle has not even taken place at this point. He is already arrested, okay? With that in mind, Riley did decline to do a field sobriety test, but things after that start to get a little bit heated because one of the officers indicates that she can smell marijuana. He denies that he has any marijuana on him. That's where he gets a little upset. Let's take a look at how that went down.
So I smelled marijuana in your vehicle. Did you recently smell?
No, let me tell you something, man.
Stand right here.
Let me tell you something.
Stand
I don't know. You heard what she just said. She smelled marijuana, right?
Yeah.
I don't even smoke. So
Okay.
what? But you come with that. That's lip gloss. Okay. This right here.
have a medical marijuana card?
No, I don't smoke nothing.
Have you recently smoked hemp?
I don't smoke nothing.
Okay.
So you trying that good? That's my money right there for my job.
I got you.
So
I'm
let
not
me tell
paying
you
into it.
something. You see my back of my shirt? What that told? I show you I'm a ball. You understand what I'm saying? So what you're saying is you smell marijuana. You're alive.
Now, they did eventually do a search of his vehicle. They did not find marijuana, but I did want to show that video mostly because of what the police officer said she smelled, how he reacted to it. I think it's also important to hear how he's speaking because that was one of the other indicators that he was potentially under the influence when he was behind the wheel in that car.
This ain't gonna go on much longer. Because right now, dude, you just making shit up.
Wow, he reeks of alcohol. Is there enough, like before that?
Okay, so they're talking about it. Is there enough? And they, at that point, feel that they have enough evidence indicating that he was likely drinking and driving or under the influence of something and driving, right? Remember, one of the police officers spoke to him. He said that he had been at a bar, he had a few beers, he pulled over in the middle of the road, he had been driving erratically. So all of those things led them to feel that they had the probable cause necessary to search his vehicle. And at that point, they decide to search his vehicle.
Okay, nothing in there. Smell this. It smells like alcohol. Yep. I think we're good on this. Yeah. Okay.
So at first, the first thing that they find is a tumbler with alcohol in it. So that was another indication that he had been drinking and driving. Now, what you're about to watch is the most controversial part of the body cam footage because in the video that was released earlier, the one that was heavily edited, it appeared as though one of the officers had planted evidence in the car, meaning she had planted an open container of alcohol in the vehicle, right?
Hey, there's vodka in his seat, like right here in a pouch in his seat. Vodka was found in this pouch in his seat.
What was he already placed under arrest for?
Driving under the influence.
Was there another thing?
He was also placed under arrest for driving with a suspended license knowingly.
So did this vodka bottle play any decision or play any role in your decision to have him placed under arrest for driving under the influence or driving with a suspended license?
No, because it was found post his arrest. So typically when I find alcohol in a vehicle, whether it's a DUI investigation or just open container, because I dump alcohol out if I find it. He was not charged with it. So my intention of dumping it out was solely to dump it out and get it out of the car.
Officer who believed the bottle was already opened broke the seal. She proceeded to follow department practice, which is to discard open alcohol. All of the contents of the bottle were emptied. The officer put the bottle back into the vehicle as it held no evidentiary value. That bottle of alcohol was not used as evidence against him. There were all sorts of other things that they had found that were used as evidence against him in this trial. And it was persuasive enough for the jury to make a decision that he was guilty after deliberating for under 2 hours. But understand that he was not arrested for having an open container of alcohol in his vehicle. He was arrested for driving with a suspended license. He was pulled over because he was driving erratically, which I am honestly willing to believe considering he pulled over in the middle of the road and he didn't pull over on the shoulder or on the side of the road. Riley, 56, was sentenced to spend 10 days in the Leon County Jail. He was also sentenced to 6 months of probation. As part of his sentence, Riley must also attend a DUI course, perform 50 hours of community service, participate in random breathalyzer tests, and his driver's license will be suspended for 6 months, which I think is a perfectly fine punishment considering how serious it is when someone decides to get behind the wheel when they are drunk. Because at that point, it's not just about their behavior possibly impacting them and their life because they could very easily crash, cause an accident. But obviously it's an incredibly selfish decision because there are other people on the road. And I personally have lost someone that I've known to a drunk driver. So drunk driving is a serious thing. And to provide cover for anyone who's drunk driving or to minimize the severity of that issue in order to engage in what I've been seeing online about this man and about this case, I think is just unacceptable, right? I feel like the drunk driving really took a back seat, and the seriousness of drunk driving took a back seat in this story because the focus was on the race of the police officer who pulled him over because she was a white woman, and the race of Riley, a black man. And I think that when you see everything through the lens of race, sometimes it can blind you to what the facts are.